Tetherow Golf Club. I'm on the 6th tee. It's a 424-yard par 4 with a split fairway out there. You can see there's a little lake on the left and a fairway that's about a 225 carry, and then a fairway down the right-hand side if you're not too bold to go for the one on the left. It's a neat hole. It was rated one of the top holes in Oregon last year, so it's a fun one to, pick your line. A little bit about what we're going to work on today with your particular swing. You're a good player who I'm sure is frustrated with their actions sometimes because you get this look where you get steep early and then have to kind of find it back underneath on plane. For those of you out there watching this, this is a better player swing problem. Alan's a good player, low handicap golfer. He's in good shape for his age, and he's got a lot of power. But what happens in his golf swing, he's got a pretty good looking address routine here. He gets it back and he gets this left arm flying wedge a little bit off plane. So Alan, I want you to pay attention to that. If we can keep this butt of the club kind of aiming down our target line or our plane line. Now you see this funky contraption I got set up here, and I call this my above plane board, my above plane board. And what that means is we're going to make some swings that we're going to hit some shots from up here with a golf club that travels back down to the release point and let our pivot carry our impact alignments through the ball and then into a finish. So this little contraption, it's two shafts stuck in the ground with grips on the end, obviously, and I put two T's in the end of the grip holes so that I can take one of these plow sticks that are ever so popular nowadays and rest it on top. What that does is it gives me a visual, a couple of neat things. One, it's kind of scary when you first do it because this thing is, gives a different visual perspective of the plane and what your golf swing has to do to hit some good shots. So I'm going to go ahead and hit a 3-iron here. Okay, decent little shot out there, tailed a little to the right, but the key with a shot like this and with what you're going to work on, and I wouldn't suggest you start with a 3-iron when you're doing this above plane exercise. What I want you to work on, what you're going to realize is, as daunting as this seems, you clearly see we have a lot of room here between our hands and this other alignment above plane situation here. What you're going to work on is letting this club, these arms, get down in front of you a little bit before your pivot delivers your impact alignments. Okay? So many people race, get their right elbow stuck behind them, their sequence is a little bit off, and I'm afraid you're guilty of this too. A couple other things you might want to work on just to help your alignments and help your pace. I'd love to see you hit a lot of one-arm shots. Short pitches with your wedge, say 30-40 yards. And what I want you to realize is, as you full well know, your impact and address alignments are very, very different. So go ahead and hit some shots and let that bent right wrist hit the golf ball before the momentum in this shaft wants to flatten out that right wrist. I don't want to see you trying to hit and flattening the right wrist on its own. That's not what we're looking for. And a third thought for you that I think will help you a lot is if you hit shots with your right index finger and thumb completely off the club, okay? Because on the way down, there seems like there's a pretty quick transition and this shaft gets steep. So to sum up, what I want you to work on, build yourself this little above plane board contraption. And we're going to work on the sequence of your action, being mindful of keeping the butt of the club. If there is a laser pointing out there, it'd be pointing at my target line for the most part. Yours gets pretty steep. You get this. You don't rotate your left arm flying wedge enough, so you get a little bit steep, and on the way down it gets steep, and then you're talented enough to try. So, in summation, those are little things I want you to work on, okay? Let's get this little contraption. I'll show you a front-on view. So here's a face-on view of this contraption. We've got a couple shafts stuck in the ground that are pretty much on the plane of whatever club you're using. So just set the club down you want to use, push that into the ground. We've got two of these plow rods, and the one on top is held up by two T's stuck in the end of the grip cap to help just set this on there so it doesn't fall off. the one plow stick on the ground, they're parallel to each other. And based on how comfortable you get with this, obviously this is an above plane situation. Our plane line is an imaginary line that's running kind of parallel right in here. What I want you to do in order to help your sequence and get you away from this steep move that you have to correct for, or sometimes don't correct for. It's funny, you get steep and then you overcorrect and you're shallow, and obviously you can hit it way, way out, being a left-hander, way, way out to left field. And don't want to confuse all you righties watching this, but Alan's a left-handed golfer. So he gets a really shallow inside out, doesn't really get a lot of spin, probably on his 3-wood, I'm guessing. You know, that's probably a club he has a hard time getting up in the air. So this little exercise is going to help a lot. I'm going to turn the camera so you're looking down the line, and I'll explain a little more. Pretty easy to set up, and then there's the 3 things I want you to work on when you're out there practicing.